Alright guys, in the last video we did a bunch of body work, got this car ready to be painted, and today I've given it a thorough wash, which is step one of doing a successful Plastidip job. So I washed it thoroughly with Super Clean. I love that stuff. It's a really strong wash, but it's also like a wax and degreaser as well. It works really, really good on getting stuff off. They say super clean and they really mean it. But anyway, so now we let the car sit, let it dry. Car needs to sit and dry. Hello, Doodle. Hello, Doodle. Car needs to dry, and then we'll go ahead and start masking it up. With Plastidip, you don't have to worry about like doing a super thorough masking job, but it does make the cleanup easier the more stuff you can cover. So I'm gonna cover all the windows, the sunroof, back glass. I'm gonna cover the side skirts. I got bags for the wheels. And I'm gonna paint the front bumper off of the car, so I'll be covering the headlights. The headlights and the radiator support, all that. Basically, I'm gonna cover the whole engine bay. And just stuff like the keyholes and the mirror, the glass on the mirror, the tail lights, all that stuff. Everything else, and the exhaust tip needs to be covered too because it's so close to the bumper. Everything else is gonna get painted. Even when I do the front bumper, I'm gonna leave the lip unmasked, and I'm gonna paint it with my base coat. The base coat is going to be a flat black. So I'm gonna paint the lip flat black, and then I'm going to either take it off or mask it off when I paint the color coat. I'm probably just gonna take it off when I do the color coats because it'd just be easier. That way I can make sure I get all the color back in here. But everything else, it just gets sprayed over, even the emblem. Because there's a big enough of a gap in here that I can use a razor blade and peel it back off of that without damaging the rest of the bumper. As long as you do it while it's still wet. But anyway, and the side skirts, they'll probably be, a peel when wet type deal. Could easily take them off, I just don't want to. So that's me being lazy. But now while it's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and start masking some of the areas that I can mask while it's still wet. Alright, just a quick update. I got the wheel covers on, got everything masked up on the passenger side except for the side skirt. I probably should have masked it before I did the window, but it'll be alright. I'll still be able to cover it. It just might have a little bit of overspray inside the jam. But basically gonna repeat the same thing on the driver's side and then do the tail lights and the sunroof and the back glass. Alright, so we are fully masked up and we're ready to start spraying. Only thing I forgot is that keyhole. I gotta put some tape on that keyhole. But before we spray our base color down, we have to wipe the car off with this. When you order your dip your car dip kit, you're gonna get this pre-dip spray. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna spray it on the car one panel at a time and wipe it off before you start spraying. That will help the Plastidip lay very smooth, as smooth as possible. See, this I did without using that spray, and I did it with spray guns, spray cans, and that's the type of texture you get. If you use that, it helps the texture a lot. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then we'll load up our gun and we'll start spraying. All right, so I've wiped the car down with the pre-dip spray. So I got 3 gallons of flat black and 2 gallons of clear, which we're gonna mix our pearls in. That's gonna be our top coat, and that's gonna be the color. These are gonna be the base. So I'm not using the dip your car sprayer. I have one, but it doesn't work anymore. But I have a phalanx sprayer, and I have the black tip in this phalanx sprayer, which is the second largest. And I'm gonna spray out some test panels on some plywood over here and just see, if that tip is gonna work for me or not. But I'm gonna dial it in before I ever put it on the car. All right, guys, so we got our base coat on. And the base coat is flat black. I mean, we had some issues because I thought the second biggest tip would be good. It was not. It just loaded it up and made it run really bad. So I ended up going with the second smallest tip. It took some trial and error. You see, I had to peel some back off and redo it, especially on this door. And it still got a pretty good run there. But we'll let this dry, and then we'll go back with our top coat, and maybe we can hide it with the pearl. But so far, it's black. My old Integra was flat black. I'm just not into it. But anyway, put a coat on the wing, a coat on the bumper. We got it. Well, there's 3 coats on the wing and the bumper. But so now I'm gonna clean out my cup, clean my gun out, and get all the black out of it, and let this dry a little more, and then we'll start hitting it with some purple. All right, guys, so finished up the last coat last night, but it was too dark to film anything, and I think the color is really cool, but I'm also disappointed with some things that happened. But anyway, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. And there she is. I really like the color. I like the purple. This is HKS purple from dipyourcar.com. But I had a few issues. There's one that's a pretty big run. I have a couple of those. And what was happening is my sprayer, the tip would clog up. Like, the tip would clog up as I was spraying, so no material would come out. And then it would just suddenly shoot a whole bunch of material at once, and it would create runs like that. But there's another pretty bad one. There's some waviness here from that happening, and there's a pretty good run right there. There's some there. There's another one, and one of the worst ones is right there. Overall, it's not that bad, not that big of a deal. And like I say, this isn't a permanent paint job, so it can be redone. In fact, I got such a bad run on the driver door while I was spraying, before I ever even started spraying the color coats, that I peeled the whole door off and just started over. But I don't have enough material to do that on some of the other parts. It really took a lot of work and a lot of adjusting on this Phalanx sprayer to get it right. So if you're gonna do this, you're gonna use a Phalanx sprayer. Just know it's not gonna be very easy. You're gonna want to use like the second smallest tip, if not the smallest tip, because these tips clog up. Like, see this one? It's totally clogged up. They clog up with the Plastidip as you're spraying, and it being an electric sprayer anyway, it definitely flows the paint or Plastidip or whatever you're spraying through it. It sprays it out extremely fast. It really wants to just throw the material at whatever you're painting, and you can adjust it down, all kinds of things, and you still get mixed results. And in the past, I had the same issue with the Dip Your Car sprayer that's made specifically for Plastidip, but I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, it's never going to be perfect when you're doing this stuff, especially doing it outside and in the yard. But let me know what you guys think. Oh no, I really like the color. And maybe you guys think it's too much, but I like it. Anyway, I got to finish putting it back together and maybe give it a wash and see if that's, it'll kind of fade it a little. But this is the end result. This is all in all, it probably cost me like about $300 to do this. So if you're on a budget and you don't have time to do a full extensive real paint job, I mean, you could do a paint job for around you can do a legitimate budget paint job for around the same thing that it cost me to do this Plastidip job. But my main thing is time. I just didn't have time to have the car sitting, not driving for that long. So I did this in 3 days, from body work to final product. 3 days. A real paint job would have taken at least a week, But so Plastidip is, a good option if you're wanting, like if you got really bad paint, like I had, really damaged paint, and you want to do something cool and custom in a quick time frame for a lower budget, But if you have the time and the ability and a good air compressor and the resources to do it, I'd suggest doing a real paint job. But I didn't have the time to do that, so this is what we did. But anyway, that's gonna be the end of this video. We finally did it. Finally got the color of the car changed the way we want it. Well, and I'm a mixture of disappointed and happy with how it turned out. I think the color's cool, but I'm disappointed in some of the application, some of the issues that I had with it. Like, from this far away, it looks great, but when you get up close, then you see all the flaws. But we'll call it, this will be the end of this video, so let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe.